Afternoon, Year 2, and welcome back to our fourth lesson in our topic all about invertebrates. Right, I'm going to share my screen and then we can get started. Whilst I'm doing that, have a little think about what we were looking at last week. Excellent. So, as I said, we've been looking at invertebrates, and as you know by now, this is an animal without a backbone. So, last week we looked at these animals. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to have a little think about whether you can remember what this group of invertebrates were called and how we can identify them. They've got three key features, which is some of the ways that we can identify them. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to either have a little think, jot it down if you've got a pen and paper with you, or speak to the person next to you if you are working with someone else in the room. Fantastic, Year 2. So last week we were looking at mollusks and we learnt quite a bit about mollusks. We found out that there were 85,000 species of mollusks, that they have what's called a soft unsegmented body, that they don't have an exoskeleton like insects, but a lot of them have shells, and most of them live in the sea or in rivers, but some live in damp places on land, like snails, which is what we focused on last week. This week, we are going to look at two more groups of invertebrates. One group is called the annelids, and one group is the arachnids. As you can probably see from the picture, an example of an arachnid would be a spider, and an example of an annelid is a worm. So let's just have a quick look at what identifies each one of these groups. So, annelids have long segmented bodies. If you remember from last week, the mollusks had soft unsegmented bodies, and we talked about how a segment was lots of little bits. All right, so something like a worm has a body which is in lots of little bits, lots of segments. Okay, they don't have any legs. All right, so annelids don't have any legs. They don't have an exoskeleton or any shell, and they often live in wet habitats. Okay, so that's the annelids. The arachnids are quite different from insects in a couple of ways. They do have an exoskeleton like an insect. However, their bodies are divided into two sections as opposed to three sections. Remember, the insect has the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. And an arachnid's bodies are only divided into two sections. They have 8 legs and they don't have any antennae. All right, so I'm just going to give you 10 seconds just to think about those 4 groups that we have looked at so far. So we've looked at insects, we've looked at mollusks, we've now looked at annelids and arachnids. Okay, so 4 different types of invertebrates. And I'm just going to give you 10 seconds just to have a little think about those 4 different types. Well done, year 2. Brilliant, quite a lot to remember. So this is going to be our activity today. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to pause the video. And what we are going to do is we are going to watch a short film, a short video, which will show you these 4 different types of invertebrates that we can find here in Britain, usually in our local area, so in our local parks or in our gardens or even just in our houses or on the street. So what I would like you to do is I would like you in a minute to get a piece of paper and to divide it into 4 bits. And then I would like you to label it with the 4 labels that you see on the screen of the 4 different types of invertebrates that we have looked at so far. So we've got insects, mollusks, annelids, and arachnids. So pause the video now, get your piece of paper and set it up in a similar way to I have done on the screen. Excellent, year 2. So you should all have a piece of paper divided into 4 with the names of the 4 different types of invertebrates that we have been looking at. So in a minute, I'm going to show you a film with lots of different invertebrates in it. And I just wanted to flag that these are some that you might see in the film that you might not recognise. So we've got a dragonfly, quite distinctive because it's got 2 sets of wings and quite a very thin, long abdomen. Then we've got the carrion beetle, again quite distinct with its colour patterns on its back. We've got the green shield bug, which is in a shape of a shield, and a pond skater, which, as the name suggests, travels around a pond by skating on it. Okay. So in the video that we are about to watch, you will see some of these animals. When you see an animal that you think goes into one of these 4 sections, you need to draw it and write its name. So the video is about 6 or 7 minutes long, but you might want to pause it at different points so that you can have a really close look at the animal and make a decision about which box it should go in. As you can see, I've done the first one for you. So I saw a bee in the video. So I did a picture of a bee and I wrote the word bee next to it. Okay. So the next thing you are going to be seeing is the video. And I would like you to sort all the animals that you see in that video into these 4 boxes. Well done, Year 2. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I hope that you have got some animals in at least 3 of those boxes. You'll notice I watched the video and I thought, there's one that's missing. One box where I don't have any animals in it. So if you can add your own animals in the boxes, that would be amazing. And if you can, with an adult, you might even be able to go outside and see if you can add some other animals that you can actually see outside. Right, Year 2, I'm looking forward to seeing your work on Seesaw, and I will see you next week. Bye.